show me who hit you yesterday. You coming?
What the?
For this. For the damages.
The story begins in a quiet house in small-town America. Laura Peterson, a grieving mother, looks at the photograph of her eldest son, Caleb, who was killed in Afghanistan. Her husband, Spencer, her daughter, Anna, and her youngest son, Luke, each struggle with the loss in their own way. The silence of grief hangs over the family until a knock at the door changes everything. Standing on the porch is a polite young man who introduces himself as David Collins, a former Army sergeant and Caleb's close friend. Calm and respectful, he tells Laura that Caleb's last words were of love for his family. Overcome with tears, Laura invites him in. He seems gentle, trustworthy, and kind, offering sympathy and companionship. When David offers to leave, Laura insists he stay, even giving him Caleb's old room. Later that day, Anna comes downstairs dressed for work. She exchanges a brief introduction with David before leaving, unimpressed. Meanwhile, Luke is still at school, suffering through another day of isolation and bullying. Shoved into lockers and humiliated by classmates, he carries the pain silently. When he returns home, David notices the bruise on his face and asks what happened. Luke brushes it off, claiming it came from football. That evening, Spencer returns from work. Though wary at first, he too welcomes David after hearing his story. Over a few drinks, he shares his frustrations about being overlooked for a promotion. David listens attentively, a steady presence that eases Spencer's bitterness. By nightfall, David is no longer a stranger. He has been welcomed into the Peterson home by Laura's warmth, by Spencer's trust, and by Luke's quiet need for protection. The next day, David takes a sudden interest in Luke. He picks him up from school and calmly insists that Luke point out the bullies who hurt him. Hesitant at first, Luke finally nods toward the group of boys who torment him. David tells him to follow. At a local bar, David confronts them with an unsettling calm. He buys the boys expensive drinks, a deliberate insult that sparks their anger. When one throws a drink in his face, David explodes into action. In seconds, he drops each bully with brutal efficiency, his soldiers' training leaving them sprawled on the floor. The bartender reaches for a bat, but David leans in, reminding him that serving alcohol to minors could cost him his license. With a bribe placed on the counter, the threat ends. Outside, David looks at Luke and tells him never to let anyone push him around again. For the first time, Luke feels the presence of someone who will stand up for him. That evening, Laura urges Anna to take David along to a Halloween party hosted by her friend Kristen. Reluctant but unable to refuse, Anna agrees. At the party, David quickly wins over her friends, including Kristen and her boyfriend Craig. When Kristen's aggressive ex-boyfriend barges in and causes trouble, David steps in without hesitation. He beats the man down and drives him out. Kristen, impressed, takes David upstairs, and later, David inquires with Craig about buying guns. On the way home, Anna vents about her boyfriend Zeke's lack of ambition. David listens closely, telling her she deserves better. Touched, she promises to make him a compilation CD. For the first time, she sees a softer side of him. But the next morning, Anna overhears David on the phone. His voice is calm, controlled, but his words are alarming. He speaks of fingerprints, dental records, and needing a new identity. She freezes, realizing something about David doesn't add up. Unaware of the danger closing in, the Peterson family continues to embrace him. Anna's unease grows heavier. She calls the military base, asking about David Collins. The operator promises to investigate. What Anna doesn't know is that her inquiry triggers an alert at a private corporation called KPG. Their director, Major Carver, immediately orders a strike team. He knows the name. He knows the threat. Meanwhile, David is busy elsewhere. Craig takes him to meet a gun dealer, showing off pistols and asking him to test them. David examines the weapons with calm precision. Then, without warning, he turns the gun on both men. The dealer dies instantly. Craig follows moments later, and David collects their stockpile of firearms and grenades. Back home, Anna receives confirmation. The real David Collins is dead, killed in a fire at a military hospital weeks ago. Whoever is living under that name is an imposter. She rushes to tell her parents, but they refuse to listen. Spencer dismisses her concerns, already distracted by a sudden promotion at work. His boss has died in strange circumstances, leaving him the position he always wanted. David, calm and composed, shows his military dog tags as proof. Laura and Spencer accept his story, leaving Anna isolated and angry. That night, Anna sneaks into David's room. She photographs the numbers on his phone, hoping to trace them later. But when the phone rings, she panics, dropping in the wrong place. David notices. His suspicions sharpen, and his gaze lingers on Anna. The following day, Luke faces his bullies again at school. This time, he fights back with sudden strength, fueled by David's words. Both boys are sent to the principal's office. Laura arrives with David at her side. Calm and commanding, David argues that Luke was the victim of harassment, even hinting at legal action. The principal relents, giving Luke detention instead of expulsion. Luke is grateful. To him, David is no longer just a guest, he's a protector. But when David presses him, Luke admits that Anna believes David killed Craig and framed Zeke. He also confesses that Anna shared her suspicions with Kristen. David listens without reaction, but his eyes reveal something darker. That afternoon, Laura thanks David for helping around the house. He smiles politely, carrying laundry inside. Moments later, black vehicles pull up. Major Carver and his strike team step out. He shows Laura a photograph, asking if she recognizes the man. Nervous, she confirms it. He's inside. Before anyone can move, David sees them from the doorway. In an instant, he drops the laundry, pulls a weapon, and opens fire. A brutal firefight erupts inside the Peterson home. David takes a bullet to the thigh, but refuses to stop. He bandages the wound, retrieves his hidden arsenal, and eliminates the soldiers one by one with ruthless efficiency. When the shooting finally stops, only Carver is left alive. In the kitchen, Laura cowers with fear, demanding answers. For the first time, David's mask slips. He offers none. With cold precision, he stabs her. On the road nearby, Spencer drives home, unaware of what awaits. When David's car collides with his, he stumbles out in shock. David walks up to him, apologizes calmly, and fires a bullet into his chest. The Peterson parents are gone. Their children are next. Carver, wounded but alive, escapes the shootout. Desperate, he commandeers a car and drives straight to the diner where Anna works. He tells her everything. David isn't who he claims to be. He was part of a military experiment designed to create the perfect soldier. Conditioned to obey, programmed to kill, David eliminates anyone who threatens his cover. Even if he wanted to stop, the programming wouldn't allow it. Then Carver delivers the final blow. Her parents are dead, both murdered by David. Anna's face breaks, but she forces herself to act. She calls Luke to warn him, but her brother is at school preparing decorations for the Halloween dance. He doesn't realize how close the danger already is. Moments after Anna and Carver leave, David arrives at the diner. He asks Kristen, Anna's friend, where she went. Suspicious of her hesitation, he raises his gun and shoots her dead. Without pause, he tosses grenades into the restaurant. The blast rips through the building, killing everyone inside. David walks away without looking back. Now fully armed, he drives toward the school. Inside the haunted house set up for the Halloween event, Anna and Carver reach Luke just in time. She embraces him, shaking with relief. But the moment of safety is brief. Suddenly, the lights cut out, plunging the maze into darkness. Through the speakers, music plays, the same mix CD Anna made for David. It's his way of letting them know he's here. The trio tries to escape. A teacher guides them through the halls, but David intercepts them and kills the man instantly. Carver orders Anna and Luke to run while he stays behind to hold David off. The confrontation is brutal. Carver fights with skill, but David is faster, colder, unstoppable. The struggle ends with Carver on the floor, bleeding out, his mission unfinished. Now only Anna and Luke remain. They push through the maze, searching for an exit, only to find the doors chained shut. Trapped inside, Anna realizes the only way out is to fight. She tells Luke to hide, to stay safe until she can distract David. At first, Luke resists. But when Anna finally whispers the truth that David murdered their parents, his resolve breaks. He obeys, disappearing into the shadows with the knife David once gave him. Meanwhile, David moves through the darkness. The hunt has begun. Anna grips Carver's gun and waits inside the maze of mirrors. The air is thick with smoke and silence. Then, David appears. She raises the weapon and fires, hitting him in the chest. He collapses, motionless. For a moment, she believes it's over, but in the flickering light, he rises again. Moving with precision, David slips behind her and drives his knife into her leg. She screams and falls. The gun misfires, shattering a light fixture. Sparks ignite scattered decorations, and flames spread across the room. David leans down, hands tightening around her throat. His face is calm, his grip unrelenting. Anna struggles, clawing for the gun, but her strength begins to fade. Then, from the shadows, Luke emerges, breaking his promise to hide. He rushes forward with the butterfly knife David once gave him. With desperate force, he plunges it into David's side. Once, twice. David stumbles back, releasing Anna. Instead of rage, David looks at Luke with something else. Pride. Bleeding heavily, he tells the boy he did the right thing. With a faint smile, he gives him a trembling thumbs up before collapsing to the floor. Anna and Luke stumble through smoke and fire until rescue crews burst in. They are pulled outside, dazed and bloodied, placed into an ambulance. Sirens wail as firefighters push into the burning school. Inside the ambulance, Anna and Luke overhear the grim report. Only 2 bodies have been recovered. Relief begins to set in until Anna notices a firefighter emerging from the building. His walk is unsteady, his leg dragging slightly. He turns his head toward her. It's David, alive, disguised, and free.